What is up, everybody? It is the True Epic Gamer here, and Elden Ring is upon us, and it is as good, if not better, than anybody's expectations. The game is an absolute masterpiece, a clear 10 out of 10, a Game of the Year contender. I mean, it is extremely good. I can't state that enough. I've already put 65 hours in myself, and that's rookie numbers compared to what a lot of people have already put in the game, right? And I'm still just running around exploring stuff. You know, it has tons of things to find. Haven't beat the main story yet. I mean, 65 hours in, that means it's a pretty long game, guys. And I'm not having a ton of trouble with bosses so far. It is a lot more accessible than other Souls games. You can get through it a lot more ways. Personally, I do choose to make it harder on myself. I don't use any summons or anything, which I notice a lot of OG Souls fans have been doing. But trust me, there are still some challenges lying within the game, even though it is a little bit easier than other Souls games. Now, back to the point of this video, you're wondering, he's saying all this good stuff, so why would he be saying it's not going to win Game of the Year? So here's the thing. The problem is what it's up against, right? It's not that it's not a Game of the Year contender, it's the other games that are coming out in 2022. This is assuming that nothing gets delayed, of course. First off, let's talk God of War Ragnarok. So, this is the sequel to the last God of War game, obviously, which was revolutionary to that franchise. That was the rebirth of the God of War franchise, totally changed up the style and made it a million times better than any other God of War game, right? It is just miles and miles above. It is phenomenal, another masterpiece of a game, and it got Game of the Year. Well-deserved Game of the Year. So, really, they're not going to mix things up. It's going to be similar to the other God of War, so it's pretty safe to say that it will at least be a contender. And I would say a higher contender than Elden Ring, just because it will be a little bit easier for players, right? But let's talk about the heavy hitter at Game of the Year. Breath of the Wild 2. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I think that there is no game that could come out, no matter how good Elden Ring is, no matter how good God of War is going to be, I don't think there is a chance that it will beat Breath of the Wild 2 for Game of the Year. Let's just say Breath of the Wild 2 somehow is garbage. It won't be, but let's just go out on a limb and say it's absolute trash. It's nothing compared to Breath of the Wild, the original. Even in that situation, I don't believe that it will lose, and here's the reason why. I don't think it just comes down to which game is better, and I'm going to bring up a perfect example of why that is the case. So if you guys recall the game Ghost of Tsushima, it is a phenomenal game. Came out of nowhere from Sucker Punch Studios, the people who brought us Sly Cooper. Just insanely good game. I don't think people really knew that it was going to be as good as it was. I know that I personally didn't. I got the game knowing it was going to be pretty good. Did not know it was going to be an absolute masterpiece. And when it came time for the Game of the Year awards, I thought for sure it would walk away with the title, especially because its competition, Last of Us 2, was just absolutely getting obliterated, right? People hated it. They thought the storyline destroyed it. Me being one of those people, I did play through it. I loved the first game. The second game was a good game, but the story was just an absolute miss in my eyes, and in most people's eyes, I feel like it was a total miss. So with everybody hating on Last of Us 2, it seemed like a gimme, an absolute gimme, that Ghost of Tsushima, the perfect masterpiece of a game, would get Game of the Year, and it somehow got robbed. So unfortunately, I think even if Breath of the Wild 2 is a choke, and even if God of War Ragnarok is a choke, one of those two games will take Game of the Year over Elden Ring. I just don't think that there's any shot for it, unfortunately. But if you guys think differently, let me know in the comments. If you think there's no chance Elden Ring loses, let me know in the comments down below. Tell me which game you think should win Game of the Year. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and of course, subscribe for more.